Welcome to Business and Happiness Podcast. I'm your host, Braco Pobric. This episode is sponsored by Life Success Academy, a place where you recreate your business and personal happiness. My guest today is Carolyn King, business owner, positive psychology master coach, and kinesiologist. Hello, Carolyn. How are you?
I'm really well, Braco. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you this early morning in your part of the world.
Yes, and you're late or getting mid-evening for you in your part of the world?
Yes. 7 p.m. Almost my sleep time. Not just kidding. It's still
9 a.m. for
good.
me. So, yeah. Look, isn't it great? Don't you love this technology that allows us to be able to have these chats at different times?
It really is amazing. Really is amazing. I was thinking we talked today about, being a happy mompreneur. You have your own business for many years. You have two children, 14 and 15 and a half, right?
Yes.
Sorry, Jordan is 14 and Ali is 15 and a half. And really juggling all these things and having a successful business, and your business is basically in your home. I know it's a separate room, a separate entrance and everything, but basically you're still kind of home, which sometimes makes it easier, but in a lot of ways makes it also difficult because you don't kind of separate yourself. And I know that because I've had many businesses that they were part of my home, going back to 30 years ago to today in a different shape or form. So yeah, let's talk about that. There are so many moms who want to do or are trying to do what you are doing, but it's hard. It's hard. So I wanted to talk to you about that.
It can be hard, and I think it's that juggling of how much time do I spend with my kids and what do I need to do for my kids and my family and how much time do I spend in my business. But I think I've learnt that a happy mum creates a happy life.
Yes.
For their kids. And I've also learnt that I wanted to start a business and follow my dreams because I wanted to inspire my children to follow theirs. And I grew up in a traditional European family, do school, go to university, get a job. Well, that's sort of when I decided not to go to university. I did get in, but decided not to. That sort of put a kink in Dad's idea of where I was going to go in life. But I still ended up in a traditional job, which was great. But for many years, I wasn't really happy and fulfilled. And I didn't want my kids to have that same life. I wanted them to know that they could do anything. And not many families grow up knowing that owning your own business is an option. Many families grow up, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people around me, you go to school, you go to university or college, and then you get a job and you work for someone, and that's your job. And if you stay there for 40 years, well done, you get your pension, see you later.
Exactly the same way I grew up. I actually, just the other day, I wrote an article, which I'll be publishing in a few days, exactly about that, difference between back then, having a job for 40 years and retire versus today, what we do today. It's yeah.
And that's the funny thing, I wanted my kids to know they could do anything. And that's probably the driving force for me really pushing myself in my business. That, and also it does feed my soul. And I think when it feeds your soul, when it's something that you are so passionate about doing, it's no longer a job. And that saying they say, when you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life, because it's not work, it's fun. And that's what I want to teach my kids, that work doesn't have to be boring and mundane. It can be something you truly enjoy, and that you can change that. You don't have to be stuck in a job for 40 years. I was an accountant for so many years, and now I'm doing coaching and kinesiology, which is totally different. You don't have to stay in the same job. And I think they say the youth of today are going to go through 5 or 6 job changes. So all of that, I think, is what really encouraged me to follow my dream. Plus a really supportive husband. I do have to give him a shout out because he is very supportive.
Yeah, that certainly is important, very important as well. So how do you juggle, going from the time you wake up, all the things that you still do as a mom successfully and happily, and do this, although I know, as you said, this is what I would say just true calling for you, just like what I do now. This is not a job. I do this Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I don't really care. There's no more weekends for me. It's just time off whenever I want to take off. That's it. But otherwise, it's just not a job. So I think that's really the key, that you created that for yourself and for your family. And the other thing I do want to mention, when you said, happy mom, happy family, just reminded me on my mom and my family, because that's exactly what she created. She was happy mom that really, truly created a happy family. And thanks for reminding me on that, how important that is. So how do you juggle all of that? And, and then maybe next thing is, what do we recommend the moms to, how they're going to be happy and create a happy family?
I think for me, over the years, I've learnt that there were many times I had to make a decision. Did I want to, when I was doing things for the kids, is it a chore or is it something I'm happy to do for them? And I've realised that being a mum is a privilege. I'm so blessed to have two beautiful kids. It took a long time. We struggled to fall pregnant with our first. So I know how difficult it feels to not have children. And then falling pregnant and going through depression then brought my emotions down. So over the years, I've learnt to appreciate and respect the time I get to spend with them. So I want to be there for them. I'm happy to make their lunches in the morning and drive them wherever I need to drive them. And trust me when I say I have very active children. My son plays soccer and basketball. My daughter is a dancer, a singer, a performer. So we're all over the place with lessons and rehearsals and all sorts of things, competitions, dance competitions. I remembered many years ago sitting in one of those dance competitions and saying to myself, I could be annoyed and bored right now, or I could choose to go, you know what, I'm spending time with my daughter and this is awesome. And it was then that I realized that change in when I spend time with my kids, I spend time with my kids.
Bravo.
And that's important because I don't want to feel guilty when I spend time in my business. It's quality that's important. And I love making their lunches. I love driving them around. Like I said, when we drive in the car, that's probably when we have our best conversations. I love being there for them. I love washing their clothes. And, when I say I love it, for me, it's not a chore. I'm so blessed to have them in my life. And I think that's the key. When you see them as a blessing, then everything works out and you're able to manage what you do. So I'm able to come in here, and when I'm running the business, my kids, thankfully now they're old enough that if the door's shut, all right, mum's with a client or mum's doing something, please don't interrupt her. They're pretty good like that. So it was a bit harder when they were younger, but I've learned to juggle, and the benefits are awesome because when they were younger and they were sick at home, I could still work.
Yes.
And I can manage my clients around their activities, which is sometimes difficult because I need to know where they are all the time so that I know when to pick them up. But there are so many benefits as well. So for me, it's a blessing. It's a privilege.
Yeah, I love your approach. It's just so beautiful, like you said, taking kids everywhere, doing all of this and making them lunch. It's not a chore. It's something that you love to do. And I mean, that statement, I think, does it all. It solves all seriously. I mean, you said it all in that one statement. If people can just take that statement, that's it. It will change their life, truly.
It's really about mindset. It's about how you see the world. And I don't see them as holding me back. I see all this time as precious time I have with them. I see what I do, as I said, to inspire them to think outside the box, to follow whatever their dreams are. And I know that when they get older, I'll have even more time to spend in my business. And that's great. And when that happens, I'll be there for that. And then when they have kids, I'll be there for that. So there is no time limit on how fast I need to do this or how successful I need to be right now. Because I think we've mentioned in other podcasts, if you focus on the money, it doesn't work. It's about serving, and whether I'm serving my clients or whether I'm serving my kids. And I need to serve myself. So let's not forget that we need our own time. We need our own self-care time. It all falls into place.
So yes, you need to serve yourself, and it all starts from there, right? Taking care of yourself. What do you do to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your family and your business?
I call it play. I'm a big believer in play. Play meaning something fun. So sometimes it'll be having a nice long hot bath. I definitely meditate every day. I get out, I try to move every day. So getting out for a walk or getting up early and meditating. I love to read and I love to create. So sometimes it might be writing, sometimes it might be just doodling and drawing. I'm always learning something new. So for me, my self-care is actually also learning. I love learning new things. So it's whatever I feel like I want to do at that time. And it changes. I'll be honest with you, it's not the same thing all the time. If I feel like I need a sleep in, I honor that and I go, all right, I need a sleep in right now. You know, my body needs a break. I'm not one of those people that says, all right, I need to get up at this time and meditate and exercise and do this every day. Some days don't work out like that. As a mum, things are all over the place some days. So some days I'll go, all right, I can't do this right now. I do meditate every morning, even if it's only a few minutes, just to get my day started. But everything else is a little bit flexible. I have a bit of flexibility in that because I have to. And then my kids just know when I've got clients, it's non-negotiable. They have to be quiet. That's when I work with my clients. Then all the creative stuff, all the other stuff, the posting, the accounts, I can manage that and slot that in around cooking dinner or whatever else I'm doing.
What was, if you think back when they were, younger, can you think of some, bring some moment into your life when it was like difficult juggling all of that? Although you don't see that as a chore, but it can be,
Absolutely. When they were younger, I couldn't have clients in here until they understood what it meant to be quiet. So by the time I started seeing clients, they were already, how old were they? 5 and 7. So at that time, I would need my husband in the house to keep them quiet. I wasn't seeing as many clients back then, so it was different. So that's when it was a little bit more difficult because they needed me more. They couldn't get their own food for lunch, or get their own drinks or whatever. So there were definitely more difficult times when they were younger because kids need their parents.
Yes.
Teenagers are a little bit more respectful of parents, hopefully. Mine are.
You have more time to find out.
Yes. And look, there were times when I would have a client or I remember one time I was running a meditation class and I got a phone call from the school just as my meditation class was to start that my son had been vomiting at school. So I had to literally drop everything. One lady had come. I said, please just sit down. I've got to go pick up my son. I've got to pick him up and bring him home. And I had to juggle that. I had to go pick him up. Thankfully, the school's not far. I think I was back in 10 minutes. And my ladies were lovely. My meditation group were lovely. They were just patiently waiting here for me and stuck him on the couch and did the meditation class. I think he was in primary school, but I think he was maybe 10 or 11 by that stage. So he knew to be quiet. And he was okay. When I say he was vomiting, he wasn't violently ill. He was just something had upset his stomach. So there have been times I've had to juggle that. And I'm blessed that my clients are fairly flexible as well. And if they're not, that's just part of who I am. And if they can't, that's part of the boundaries I have around the people I work with, that if they can't understand that, that's all there is, then I'm not the person they need to work with.
Love it. Because this is where a lot of people will struggle, to say, hey, I know I have to take care of my kid, but how am I going to leave this meditation group alone? And I really love your approach. And you seem to be very fine with that, now and back then when this happened. So it's really, really important. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're basically saying it's all or most of it is about mindset and how you approach your business and your family. And also, if I'm hearing correctly, what I think you're doing really well is when you're with your kids, you with your kids. When you're doing your business, you're doing a business. So you're giving a 100% focus to people around you, so, be that the business clients and or of course your family, where the most focus is, and it should be.
Absolutely. I mean, on the weekend, I remember being with my family and my phone was calling. Someone was ringing me and I knew it was a client, but I thought, it's a Saturday afternoon here. I'm spending time with my client. I didn't even acknowledge. I just let it go to message bank because that was my family time. And it may sound harsh, but my family time is really important to me. And while I truly value my clients, especially as a coach, you have to understand you can't be there for them every second of the day. You have to have your own time and you have to have that distinction. So when I'm with my family, I'm with my family. And when I'm with the clients, I'm with the client. And there are some times where there's crossover time. If I'm watching TV and someone messages me and it's a client and I'm in the right headspace to answer, I'll answer. It's not all or nothing. It just, I look at what mindset I'm in at that time and what I'm doing, and I make a decision. Yes, I'll answer them now or no. And I think most of my clients know that. They know that I have a family. I'm open that I have kids. I'm open that I have to drive my daughter to work sometimes, which is why some clients I squeeze in between pickups and drop-offs, and I tell them that, hey, I've got to drop my daughter off. That's why it's this time, and they know. Once they know, I think they're great. They don't, most people understand that when you've got a family, you have to manage that.
And most people will respect that rather than saying, why did she do that? She will respect because your family is first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are first.
So I believe that seemed to be like key to your success as a mompreneur, right? I mean, really, to be able to fully focus on your family when you're with them and fully focus on your business. What do you think? Is that one of the keys?
It is. It's the ability to fully focus. And the other thing to point out here is I'm not somebody that works till midnight. I'll be honest with you. If I have a client at 7, 6:30 is probably the latest I see a client. It's very rarely I work after that. So I'm not an entrepreneur that works till midnight. My brain does not function like that. So I am fitting all of this in reasonable hours, because I know some girlfriends of mine that run a business and they're up till midnight, 1 o'clock. I'll get emails from them. I'm thinking, oh, I don't know how they do that. I need my sleep. I'm someone that needs my sleep. So you have to be mindful of not burning yourself out and find what works for you. And it will come and it will grow as it needs to for you at a comfortable pace. Because on the flip side, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs out there that I've followed, and I'll see them going, I've just burnt out, I'm taking a break, and they're gone for 6 months or 10 months. And then you get a message going, I'm back on board now, I've healed myself. And I think I never want to be like that, because one of the things I want to really empower my clients with is to listen to themselves. And I know what burnout feels like. I burnt out when I was in my corporate job. I don't want to do that in this job. And if my job is to empower others to listen to themselves, then I'm not really being true and following my own advice if I do that. So, it's very rare. My phone, last night, I think my phone was off by 7 o'clock. It depends on where the kids are. If everyone's in the house, the phone's off, it's on silent in the other room, and I don't check it. I'm done. And I think, so it's important to point that out too, that I'm not someone that works till midnight or 1 o'clock. I don't function that way.
And I think it's really important to, it is okay. I know there was a part of my career when I did just that, when I was working till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And now I'm at the point where I don't do that anymore. I have a really not strict schedule, flexible, but there is a schedule, right? Well, I work until latest is 6 o'clock is my dinner time. And, unless something like you and I do this fun stuff, there's really no reason for me to have a client, to do anything after that. So it's, and like you said, if your body tells you to take a break, take a break, take a nap. Don't just listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to yourself so that you can help other people.
If you can work till midnight, that's great. I just know I can't. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying listen to your body. If you can
Agreed.
do it, go ahead and do it. I know my mind doesn't shut off sometimes at night when I'm lying in bed. So I have a notepad next to the bed and I'm writing notes if something comes through. I think as entrepreneurs, we're creatives. Our brain doesn't switch off some nights, and that's fine. I just make notes and then go back to bed.
Yes, yes, I 100% agree. Um, so what advice can you give in addition to what you just shared to, moms who trying to establish their business, they have a kids. There are also a lot of, single moms who struggle with a lot of things that I happen to know, but yet, they're pushing for it, they're getting it done. Um, what else you can?
I think it's really scheduling. I think it's knowing what are your non-negotiables. All right, I have to pick up my kids here and I have to drop them off at these times. So work out what times of the day are definitely family time because of obligations. Pick up, drop offs, whatever you have to do there. Then what are your other obligations or not obligations? What are the other times you'd like to spend with your family? Is it weekends? Is Sundays off limits? I know I had a client once ask me, do you work Sundays? I said no. And I don't work, sometimes I work Saturday mornings, but I won't work Saturday afternoons. So, figure out where your family time is. For me, going to watch my son play basketball or soccer or watching my daughter in a performance is key. It's priority for me. So I don't ever negotiate that time.
Great.
Then you work out, all right, I want to see clients. How many clients can I fit in the time that I have free that is not related to the family? And how many clients, what's my capacity? Because as coaches, seeing 40 clients a week, you'll burn out. I get to 20 and I'm like, okay, that's enough for me. I don't even want to get to 20 because there's other things I want to do. Work out how many hours you want to spend with your clients, and then you see what other times you have which are flexible, and that's where you fit in your scheduling for your posts or your content creation or creating your program or whatever else it is that the business needs, your accounting. You slot them in those times that are a little bit more flexible, and that's what I do. And I know when I'm doing my posting, I like to have a solid couple of hours, so I might block out time. If I'm working on a project, I like to, again, block out a bit of time. But I'm flexible. With a client, if I've booked a client in, I see the client. It's sort of non-negotiable as well. Because I need to honour the client's time as well.
Yes.
When they come to me, I need to honour their time. So that's how I work it. I work about the non-negotiables for the family, and then I see where can I fit my clients, and then what's left, and manage all the other stuff around that.
And I also know we already talked about how you give yourself time, all right, to take care of yourself, which is also very, very important.
And that self-time is usually first thing in the morning or in the evening, usually, but sometimes during the day. Look, if I'm feeling really stressed in the middle of the day and no one's home, they're all at school and my husband's at work, and I'm feeling exhausted, I'll get up and I'll actually go and watch some TV and give myself 10 or 20 minutes in front of the TV without guilt.
Yes, I love it. Without guilt. I do the same thing. I do the same thing. There's no guilt.
No guilt, because if I feel guilty, it's like I'm perpetuating that negative tiredness. If I sit there and go, right, I'm just sitting here for as long as I need, I usually don't sit there for longer than 20 minutes. Usually I'm like, oh, I can breathe. I've eaten my lunch or had a snack or whatever I've done, and then I'll be going, no, I'm itching to get back to work. Let me get back to work. It's the guilt. We need to let that go.
Yes, it's a guilt that kills. And I love it what you said, without guilt. I know, like yesterday, I was, a couple of days ago, we went to Jersey Shore and spent time in a cabin. It was another cabin with the friends. And it was really fun. And I started searching, like, what if we find a cabin like this and maybe buy something? And I basically all day, I wasted, but it wasn't a waste. I just didn't know what to do. The day was raining. I just sat at home and I was like browsing things. And I'm not buying anything, but you give yourself permission to be human and to just do maybe nothing. And that's fine. Don't feel guilty.
Absolutely. Guilt is just, it's probably one of the worst emotions out there in terms of depleting our energy.
in terms of depleting, although it could serve
It
you
could.
well.
It could
if it-
serve. Yeah, I should take that back. I realized as I said it that guilt can sometimes serve us, especially when we've hurt somebody else or something else is
yeah.
going on. But in terms of judging yourself and what's going on, yes, I should probably rephrase that.
No, but that's the first. That's initial. We always say that the guilt is a terrible thing. It is, right? And it's just there are certain times that is okay. But as you said, if it's about ourselves and what we do, it's bad.
Yeah. If it's about you taking time out for you, don't feel guilty.
Good point. So I'm hoping, this was really great discussion. I want to, congratulate you on all your successes. I know you have so much in works that you shared with me earlier.
I have. Stay tuned. There's lots of projects on the go at the moment.
Lots of projects, and still, being a happy mom, having a happy family, having happy kids the kids that get everything that they need to get from their mom, as well as your husband. I really think it just gives you so much credit. It's really amazing. And that's why I think people can do this. This is what I call true life success. True. And this is life success.
It's happy. And my daughter has quite often been quoted to say, "Mum, you're too happy." And I just look at her and go, "Well, do you want me another way?" She goes, "No, but you're just too happy, Mum." And I go, "That's okay. Life's about," for me, I know what it's like not to be happy. And I've chosen to focus more on what's good in life.
Right. And at the same time, succeeding in business and with the family. So it's not just, that's really important. Hey, Carolyn, thank you so much. This is such a pleasure. I'm really hoping that you helped lots of mom listening and wanting to do what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Braco.
Become the Life Success Academy founding member. Go to academyoflifesuccess.com and click on founding member to get 60% off full membership.